The first sign isn't the screams, it's the silence, unnatural and heavy, sweeping across streets crowded just moments before. Air thickens, holding a smell you recognize but can't place, raw, wet, metallic. This isn't a drill, it's happening. The world's first true global crisis unfolds at dawn. You feel your heart pound, cold sweat tickling your neck. There's no going back. This is the moment history splits, and you're standing right on the edge.
Subscribe to Think What If for more stories that push your imagination to the edge.
Imagine the sun barely cresting over the skyline, shadows stretching long and sleepy. The city sounds muted, as if the world itself hesitates to breathe. Radios crackle, phones buzz, voices whisper. Something's out there. The first news stories flicker in, fractured and frantic, from the heart of a vast, crowded nation, one with a teeming population, stressed infrastructure, and tightly packed streets. Maybe it's India, sprawling and vibrant, now teetering. Or is it Brazil, lungs of the world, cities curling through jungle? One thing is clear, the world's first domino has started to fall. All it takes is a single infected body slipping through an airport, blending in with the swarm. The first country to fall won't be the richest, nor the strongest. It will be the one least prepared for chaos, where borders are a formality and panic spreads faster than facts. There's a stench in the air, not just death, but fear layered on the exhaust of thousands fleeing, sweating, shouting. Doors slam, feet pound. On every screen, a single repeated word: outbreak, outbreak, outbreak. You reach for your phone, hands trembling, scrolling past rumors and horror. Clips play in endless loops on a crowded train in Mumbai, still packed, even as blood spatters the glass and screams turn guttural. Sirens wail. Police line up, face shields fogging, clutching batons they know are useless. A mother hides behind a crumbling wall, muffling her child's sobs. Hunger, dread, waiting. You feel it too, even here, thousands of miles away. What would you do now if your city became the epicenter? This is not a distant apocalypse. It tumbles forward, relentless and real, each hour peeling away illusions of control. The smell of burning rubber as desperate barricades go up, the taste of stale breath inside crowded shelters, the sharp crack of gunshots echoing over waterlogged neighborhoods. Governments scramble, lines drop, promises shatter. In the first country to fall, social order is a memory. There's only survival, moment by moment. Who do you trust when anyone could turn? How far would you go to keep those you love just one more day? Huddled in a balcony, you watch as darkness folds in. Fires rise. Every shadow flickers with movement. Inside, the news has stopped. Only static, only fear. Footfalls rattle the corridor. Someone wails, "Open up!" Another voice, broken and small, begs, "Please." The motif repeats, echoing in your mind. What would you do now? In the chaos, small acts of kindness glimmer. Strangers share rice in dim stairwells. A nurse races through alleyways with a stolen box of medicines, risking everything for people she's never met. But hope is fragile. A single cough and suspicion sharpens. The infected change first in their eyes, dead, then desperate before flesh tears and the transformation is complete. Cities dissolve into labyrinths. Every floor, every alleyway, a new gamble. And still, the motif: what would you do now? Borders, once lines on a map, become desperate walls. The world watches as evacuation flights choke the skies. Some hope intervention will come. But the infection outpaces the news cycle, flooding police lines, smothering clinics. A country falls not with a roar, but a whimper, as the last emergency broadcast flickers and fails. Whole regions blink out, digital ghosts on a blank screen. You know your immune distance is shrinking, and time is erased. Wind rattles empty playground swings. A child's shoe lies abandoned at the side of a broken road. In a radio studio, a lone survivor reads the news to nobody, his voice cracking. In darkened apartments, parents hold their children tight, listening for the next bang at the door. Is this how a civilization ends? Not with a cataclysm, but with millions of tiny tragedies, each one unseen? You count your breaths, heartbeat like thunder in your ears. Then, a twist. The infected learn, unnerving, as children speaking in their dreams. They hesitate, coordinate, no longer mindless. A trembling survivor lowers her bat and weeps, realizing her father is gone. But the thing wearing his face remembers her name, mouths it in the hush between attacks. What would you do now if the dead remembered? Dawn creeps once more over the ruined city. Charred air, cold rain, the persistent shriek of alarms that no one answers. Across the world, borders tighten, but the first country's fate is written. Ash drifts where once there were parades, the streets echoing not with laughter, but shuffling, endless footsteps. One phrase circles back, a whisper rising above the sirens and the silence. What would you do now? But even here, amid ruin, there are embers of resilience. A family finds shelter, planting seeds in a rooftop garden, rationing canned beans, telling stories by candlelight. An old man risks the streets to crank open a city water line, and for one miraculous day, clean water pours into battered hands. The infected press in, but humanity creates new rituals in defiance, filling broken temples with the melody of a single voice, lighting matches to the darkness in waves. You feel the ache and awe of survival, the wonder in small mercies, the bittersweet taste of hope. The world records this first fall and vows, never again. Never again repeats across radio, graffiti, a promise etched in ruined walls. What would you do now, knowing everything could end before morning? The infection spreads, but so do stories. The first country to fall is not forgotten. Its survivors become teachers, warning the world what happens when silence comes first. As the global tide rises, other nations fortify. Scientists pull sleepless nights, and communities look out for not just themselves, but each other. The horror is real, but so is the lesson humanity, tested by the edge, sometimes finds its truest self. Rain falls on empty highways. Blood is washed away. Petals bloom through cracks in the sidewalk. Your heartbeat slows. For the first time since the nightmare began, you sense quiet that feels almost hopeful. Would you recognize this moment? Would you fight, hide, or heal? A new dawn rises. If the first country to fall is the lesson, then the rest of the world is the test. You are part of that story, as certain as the sunrise, as fragile as memory. Listen, the silence has changed. In its place grows something new, haunted but unbroken, a vow echoing into the future. Subscribe to Think What If for more worlds you should never forget.